everybody. Now everything should be working fine, even though we had a few last-minute tweaks. But should all be good. Should be working. I'm expecting somebody to jokingly say, "Nah, you're muted." Because that's what everybody does.
Or maybe I disappear once in a while on stream,
perhaps?
That
shouldn't happen today. I'm back up to full complement of 2 monitors. We've not got any gameplay or anything going on, so it's all good. Should be fine. I can even get the wheel on a completely different screen, so we should be fine. It should all be good.
Good. Spruntcran says it can't hear me unless they're just joking.
Much louder than Bam. Well, that's because I am, literally trying to shout down my mic so that you lot do hear me. But we can also bring that up to, 500%. It's fine. That should be better now.
Sure.
Your vote Bam goes into ghost mode. What's ghost mode when it's at home?
Why am I upside down?
Oh, well, I could make you upside down.
What stream are you guys watching? I have the live stream on the side. Everything looks fine on mine.
I was going to say, I could turn him upside down if you guys wanted to. It would literally only take me a couple of seconds.
Also, hello. I saw a few call-outs in the chat, so yeah, thank you guys. Happy to be back on stream again.
And okay, maybe we start with that then. I wasn't sure how we were going to start this stream, but since he's in chat, right, don't know how many of you have seen on Discord, but our very own Heat Resistant, or as some of you may know him, Jack the Ripper, is moving on from wargaming. He is carrying on his career to new adventures, and I'm sure you will all join me in, one, saying congratulations to him, but also saying that, we're going to miss some of his shenanigans with his terrible dad jokes and awful puns. I swear he had a competition in the office some days on who could make the worst joke.
Yeah, we will miss you, Jack.
Because, yes,
you brought a lot to the team here.
There is quite a few of them that will sit there and try and make terrible dad jokes when we're in meetings.
Somebody needs to do it, though. Well, someone will maybe take up the reins in your departure.
Well,
maybe not. Maybe we leave that legacy with you.
Well, I don't think Debo will quite forgive us if we told him he couldn't make any more bad puns or jokes or the rest of it. You know what he's like. He has to end pretty much every meeting with a bad joke. But yes, I'm sure all of you will get in there and wish him well. Congratulations, say we'll miss him. But obviously, we won't miss him as much as Newcastle are missing a defence right now. And there's my sport joke in there.
Gotta squeak that in a little bit.
Gotta squeak in some sport joke. I couldn't make it fit Man United though, which is a bit terrible. We'll miss you as much as United have missed out on cup games this season. that might fit just about. But anyways, right, okay. That news over and done with. We do also have congratulations today. I don't think either of them are in chat, but Vizsure and Zach Tool have made a Twitch partner this week, so congratulations to both of them.
Congratulations, that's exciting, guys.
That was a low blow. That was a very low blow, but also I know he can take it because he says those sort of jokes himself. And for everybody saying we're late, we are not late. We have arrived exactly on time. Just because your guys' clocks have changed does not mean the rest of the world's clocks have changed yet.
Oh, that's this weekend,
It is
right?
this weekend. EU changes this weekend, which means that on Tuesday, the stream will be at 4 p.m. UTC. And on Friday, it will be 6 p.m. UTC.
Gotcha.
So we've got...
KB, you really saved me, I think, was it 2 weeks ago when we had a stream? That is when here in the U.S. we had our daylight savings time change. I was ready to go on stream a whole hour early. You're like, wait a second. No.
As I'm sat there quite happily drinking a cup of coffee, it's just like, what do you mean? We've got at least an hour to go yet.
I would have been online, live with you all, alone here on the stream, like, what are we talking about today? What's on the topic? Where's the host?
Bam sounds like he's speaking through a cam while he keeps saying that he's going to update his mic and then never does.
That is true. I'm still using this old mic.
And
it's the job done. Maybe it can be better.
Wargaming US is in US time zones, but all streams run off my time zone, which happens to be the British time zone. So you will either run off BST, as we will after the weekend, or GMT during the winter months. Bam's gonna blow out your speakers. We can drop him down a little bit. I can also hear a certain messaging gap through your microphone.
I thought I...
Ba-ding! Ba-ding! Somebody really wants you.
My team's chats have been blowing up all day. Hold on.
I know that feeling. But anyways, we wanted to, one, talk about some stuff that's going to be happening within the next season, which is only a week and a half away. And two, we also wanted to revisit some topics. So some of the topics we'll be revisiting are things like the community map, Dukla Pass, the Headless Coachman, because, well, they're still about. If you've not been around, which rock have you been living under? Because, yeah, it's been a long time. And when are the Polish TDs coming? No spoilers on that. No spoilers on that. +1, -1, yes. Okay, so just because some people have forgotten, Mr. Bam had forgotten this yesterday, that we have already told you that +1, -1 is coming back in on Tuesday. So that is March 31st and will run for an entire week until the restart on April 7th.
Correct.
So yes, just because it's been mentioned, we'll reiterate it now. But let's just take a recap of that Headless Coachman, because the amount of you that got so caught out by this was quite funny. So hands up, chat. How many of you have tried the Headless Coachman? How many of you picked it up? Because I picked it up and I had some really fun games in it. Mercenary artillery. Ooh, that's an idea. I'm not going to take this one to Mr. Bam. I'm going to take it to somebody else.
What artillery? I missed the comment.
A mercenary artillery.
Mercenary. Okay.
I think I've got somebody who will help me to get this through, if I'm honest. He's not in chat at the moment, but...
That's a surprise.
It's a big surprise, but there we go. We need a Halloween skin for the tank. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I can't tell you the amount of times, myself included, would mispronounce the name of the tank to Headless Horseman.
Well,
that's what rolls off the tongue.
Well, if you think about it, part of Irish mythology and the rest of it is the story of the Headless Horseman.
There you go. Yeah,
which
true.
is pretty much where they took the Headless naming convention from, and instead of it being a horseman, well, they called it a coachman because it was ferrying tar barrels across ranges.
Yeah.
So, there you go. But yes, I've had some fun games in it. I've had some awful games in it too, if I'm honest, but I have had some good games in it. I think on some of my games I was averaging like 5.7k, which for me is crazy good. But
do you find yourself going in a little bit too close quarters and brawling a bit more?
No, I sit back with it.
Yeah, okay.
I prefer to use the gun depression over ridge lines and snipe at people who can't shoot me back.
That's the way to go.
I had a crazy good game on Erlenberg where I just sat on one of the ridges and was able to just keep picking bits off.
Uh-huh.
And it really suits that gameplay well, but I've also heard it can really do well as hull down.
Yeah.
Because if you get something covering the front of your tank, all they can see is the gun.
And that's
So,
not an HP damageable component.
exactly. So, in whichever way you play it, as long as you're following what the tank wants to do, which is to use its gun depression, it's a lovely little fantastic tank.
And I will call out Goop Dog Drill says camping. I mean, hey, this is a tank that can perform very well for camping.
There are some tanks in the game that will perform that way. Unfortunately. And yes, I'm doing Italian hands, apparently.
And just as a reminder, you pointed this out to me, KB, that there was some confusion or discrepancy from you, the community, thinking that this is another made-up tank that we kind of assembled together to kit bash here at Wargaming. Not true. We did cover a bit of that history in our stream 2 weeks ago, that this was an actually made tank. I can't recall if this actually saw battle,
but it was actually put together. It did not see battle. It was one of the Irish captains had just been trained on the Swedish recoilless 90mm and had the idea to attach it to the tank, which obviously was missing its turret because of an internal fire. So they attached the recoilless to it, and the initial testing went well to the point they were actually looking at also trying it with, I think it was at 100mm recoilless and an 80mm recoilless. Unfortunately, funding dried up, so they never got that far, and the Headless returned to being a ferrying coachman, taking those tar barrels up and down the ranges. Very Irish, very Irish. And yes, it is a real-life kit bash. Absolutely a real-life kit bash. But, on that note, shall we talk, considering we've been talking about tanks and other tanks and the rest of it, how about we talk, since we're in Cold War, about some of the UK tanks?
Yeah. We touched lightly on this in our previous stream. The team is working on some more quality of life tank balance focus updates that will be coming in the next coming season, and still things that they're planning on doing in other seasons as we slowly go through more nations, tech trees, making sure we balance out Cold War and World War II. To speak on Cold War UK tanks, we're doing a lot of focus on the tech trees themselves, trying to better improve the stock grinds when it comes to playing in tech tree tanks. But there are going to be a couple of tanks that are also receiving nerfs. We did call this out a little bit earlier. We asked you guys for a bit of feedback. We also went through some of our internal data of how we see the tanks being played. And here to say we have some updates to share with you guys today in terms of what to expect on some of these incoming changes. So like I said, a lot of the UK tanks are receiving improvements in the tech tree, but some tanks are receiving some other balance changes, FV 107 Scimitar and the FV 4005. These, of course, have been called out as problematic tanks. They are fairly popular because they can output very good DPM and, well, in Era 1 especially, can certainly stomp out your opponents fairly quickly. So a notable change, we'll talk about the FV107 first, is simply making a reduction to its damage per minute. Then the FV4005, a few things we're taking a look at, mostly adjusting its DPM again. The reload time is going to give it a bit of a change, small change to its accuracy, but the alpha damage is also getting a reduction. So just a call. I know some of you, this is some of your favorite tanks out there. These are overperformers. These are things to help bring more of a baseline and keep things, well, balanced across our tanks and the tiers and eras. Like I said, we will continue to reevaluate, come back to the table with you guys in several weeks in another stream, can kind of talk about how has that shifted in terms of data and gameplay. And of course, hearing it from you, the community, sentiment-wise, that plays a very important, integral role for any sort of balance improvements that we need to look at.
107 platoons are brutal, says the chat. 107 platoons are brutal.
There is that as well.
Do we have a helpline for 4005 nerfs? Yes, it's 0800 4005 0808.
You just give him my phone number?
No, I give them a certain Mr. Zotz's phone number. God.
All right.
God, I wouldn't give yours
Zero.
out, but Mr. Zotz's every day of the week.
Okay, so those were the couple of nerfs happening in the tech trees. Other notable callouts, so things that we know you, the players, have been asking for some improvements and wanted to see these. The Centurions in the tech tree line receiving improvements to accuracy, reload time, aim time, general damage per minute, and turret rotation speed. And then again, another one, set of tanks that are popular, Conquerors and Chieftains are generally getting some armor improvements amongst many other changes as well.
Yes, I've read through that list of Conqueror and Chieftain changes. These are for Cold War, and the armor, and I think some of them have got reload and DPM changes, and it's quite extensive for the Conqueror and Chieftains in Cold War. This is specific to Cold War.
What?
And yeah, the list just seems to go on and on of armor, reload, armor. So hopefully you guys will enjoy reading through those when those come out just ahead of the new season in about, what? It'll be a week and somewhat 3 or 4 days-ish?
To go along with our patch notes on the portal article.
Go along with the patch notes.
Yeah.
What is
just
this?
Make everything 150 miles per hour in Cold War.
That's
We're
That's
gonna need
one way to make me do cartwheels. Honestly, I would be able to make anything cartwheel at that speed. But yes, no, it is not the World War II Mark VI. It is things like the Chieftain Mark V, the Chieftain Mark XI, the Conqueror Mark II. Do we have both in Cold War? I believe we do. We have a premium and a normal one. Oh, look, they've got ads. So we'll just sit here nice and quietly. Ba 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 ba.
But yeah, that'll be a wrap up on the Cold War balance. We'll get into World War II balance updates in just a moment. We'll wait for the ads to make their way through. Just a few more seconds.
According to mine, 2 seconds. Buff the ads. Buff the ads.
Buff the ads.
Right, okay, we have people saying they're back. So that's what we've got for Cold War, right? World War II. For World War II, it's lower tiers, right, Mr. Bam?
Correct. Right now, just looking at, very similar to Cold War, improving the stock grinds of low-tier tanks in World War II. The team hasn't been able to go for a full pass of all of our nations in the game. Let's be honest, we have a lot of tanks. But this pass does touch on nations that include Chinese tanks, Czech tanks, Italian, and French vehicles. And another call out, we did talk about this one prior. You'll be seeing these balance changes in the upcoming new season.
And at least for this one, I still have the screen.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, perfect. The FCM F4. This also has been called out very often by players as very, very problematic in the low tiers. So we made a lot of changes just in regards to its armor thickness in certain areas on the tank. So there is some opportunity to pen on the front, on the side, maybe not the sides, but the back as well as the top. If there's any artillery players, you have a bit more opportunity to take these tanks out more quickly. In addition to mobility-related changes to the FCM as well.
Yes. The FCM is one that's been called out a lot community side, so I think a lot of people are quite happy to see these changes happen. And of course, well, we made that change not too long ago that sees players starting in World War II again, so having a lower tier balance pass will help those players out, as well as you guys if you venture down there for a little bit of fun and games. You ever had to just take it easy for a game or two and play like a tier 4 or a tier 3 just to relax, have fun, bring that smile back to your faces as you watch something blow up?
I mean, hey, sometimes you need a break from kind of the sweaty mid to high tier games, or even in Cold War sometimes. But you still want to get some tanking battles in, right? Co-op mode, of course, also always another option, or when we ever run certain events. But hey, low tier fun, we still keep that in. That is part of the reasoning why we also brought back the low tier tanks last year, because we know there's still desire to play some of those old, some of them being World War One tanks. There is still fun gameplay to be had.
Absolutely. Right, now then, let's talk, somewhat indirectly, but let's talk about maps. And
Sure.
for this demonstration, we are using a screen that everybody has already seen before, because it is on, and nobody noticed this. Actually, chat, I'm quite disappointed by you all. Nobody noticed this whenever we've shown the Ardennes base capture location changes. So, what I want you to do is to take a really long, hard look at the map again and see if you can notice anything that's new.
Kind of lean in close, squint the eyes a bit. What looks a little bit different there?
And it's something that people have asked for in the past. But I am somewhat disappointed that nobody noticed it. Because we were sat there a couple of weeks ago going, are they going to notice it? Are we going to have to mention it before we want to mention it? As we just kind of said,
pulling it out of the image itself.
Yeah, we were just kind of said, oh, well, we can just throw the development build on it, just in case. And if somebody asks, we can just explain it that it's part of the dev cycle that we're working on. But I don't think anybody's getting it.
I would argue, let's direct your attention to maybe the northwestern area of the map.
Northwestern, right in that corner. Very top of the corner. Looks like there might be something a bit like a dotted line over there.
Yes, those are in fact 12 bots in green. Ignore them. Pretend they're not there.
There's no red team. Yes, there's no red team. And there's no TDs either, but keep looking. Really look at the A1 section. Hey! We're there! Mr. Sleeper Service has finally noticed it.
There we go.
So, yes, chat. 50-meter proxy spotting range indicator is returning to the map.
It's been a long time coming, but yeah, we felt this was the right milestone. Had some talks with the UI team and had some bandwidth like, hey, you know what? Players have asked for this. This was a well-received thing that helped for gameplay purposes in the past. And we see about bringing this back in the new season.
Yes, and, well, considering we're talking Ardennes.
Yes.
We've got some other updates to Ardennes, haven't we?
Yeah, we touched on this one a bit before. Of course, you guys are familiar with this map. There was a lot of comments in terms of it, the gameplay didn't feel so great. It sucked to have the bases located too far away. So we did share, and this is now going to be the updated layout of the bases and subtle spawn location changes as well.
And on top of that, this is a before picture ready for the next bit, because we're also looking at updating the ground terrains.
Yes. So I wish I would have come in prepared to show you guys the pre and post.
I have this. We have before on screen now, and I have an after one as well.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do.
I did not sync up with you on that then. I thought this was the post.
No, this is the before, and then I have one for afterwards as well.
Okay. So let me, just so everyone's clear on what we're looking at, because this is not stuff directly communicated to you all in game, of course. We're looking at the different terrain type, ground type layers that are painted onto the maps themselves. Anything in green is indicated as firm, in which your maneuverability and top speed acceleration of your tanks, it's like driving on roads. It will be the best route forward to get anywhere you need. Yellow surfaces are more medium, indicated more for like grass, sand, like surfaces where you have some slowdown, some maneuverability reduced. But what's not shown here is we also have a blue area that's usually saved for soft surfaces. That's more like swamps or in water, where you will definitely see major slowdown. But that, of course, is not indicated here. Most of our maps will be encompassing of both yellow and green. So that's just the definitions of what we're looking at here. But KB, want to take us to the next slide here?
I can indeed. Should be
a lot more green.
There we go.
Yeah. So you can see where the paths are very clearly outlined now. Prior to that, the pathing, mind you, a lot of them were just trails or not actually paved roads as you're looking more around the periphery outside the town. Those are now firm surfaces. That should allow for better traversal through the map, as well as spots around the map that we also felt around some of the hills and maybe the mountains, in which didn't need to be a medium surface. It still had maybe some gravel or a rocky surface that could be indicative of better firm surface driving. You'll see some red there as well. I didn't call that one out in our prior definitions of the different terrain ground types. Red is simply a slope. That is where no matter how you try to drive on it, you will slip off of it. Those are more saved for areas where there are hills that are not indicated as part of in-game play space. But there you have it otherwise. A lot more firm driving space being applied to our dens map to make overall traversal throughout the map much easier. And that comes in addition to the base capture repositioning that we are doing. And as before, as we go live with this, we want to hear from you guys. We understand this was a problematic map. We'll get feedback and can always do a more reevaluation in terms of how can we continue to improve this map and others as we proceed forward.
Okay, but our dens isn't the only map having this terrain update happening to it. We've also got another one. Chat, can you tell which map it is?
Makes it look like a desert map when it's mostly all the yellow medium surface.
Mines. Everybody knows mines.
Easy.
But is it mines or yours?
It's ours. Theirs.
Oh dear. But there we go. This is mines as you would play it now. So lots of yellow. The more brownish sections, I'm sure you'll all know, is where the bits of river are, / almost like a seaside bit, isn't it?
Yeah. The shallows, sandbar-like area. And of course, also shown here, I didn't talk about this, but you guys clearly know and see where there are rock outcroppings. Those are just present there, as well as like not really traversable space, but you could slide down and on top of them if you can. No, east side climb is not back, though. Was it actually ever present?
I think it was years ago. I think that's one we blocked off.
The Great Mines Avalanche of 2017, maybe.
Although, to be honest, it now makes me want to check. But anyways,
I'm curious as well.
Here's mines as it will come in with the next major update.
Don't worry about all the red there. That's the mountains that you can't access anyhow. As part of our script in the terrain editing process, it can grab a lot of different height layers for easier, just quick swatch of, hey, needs to be cut off from any sort of driving. But the focus, what we want to talk about is mostly around the trails on this map in and of itself is more green and then thicker spacing, allowing, if you are in tanks that weave in and out between the grass and a trail, you might have noticed some drop off in your speed as you're going in and out. We offered a little bit more buffer room around these trails. Again, better overall traversal throughout the map itself, but also understanding this is a low to mid-tier map, as it were. But it was one the designers took a look at.
Oh, right. And I think we do a quick switcheroo, because the two maps we've just talked about have also got another update happening to them, alongside a third map. And I think it best we talk about these before we talk about the topic that's supposed to be next.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let's talk bot AI.
Yes. We also know bots in games, they're not going away. Sometimes you'll have matches full, encompassing 15v15 players, but also we understand that per certain time frames that you're playing the game, bots will be more of a thing present in your matches. We are looking into ways to better improve the tactics and handling of bots into the games, because we know you guys call out that a certain bot is, at least perceived, it's not really leading the fight as well as you had hoped, or it's becoming kind of cannon fodder in certain situations. But there's also times where we do see bots get mistaken for players and are actually pulling the lead in the team as well. But irregardless, our AI engineering team have been looking in ways that we can improve our bot AI for overall improved gameplay experience. So we added some new cover support systems that's being rolled out on maps, and this provides bots more awareness of where cover is at, and they can make better decisions during their battles. This will be an ongoing process because we have a lot of maps in the game, and there is a automated process of adding the cover to a lot of hard objects in the game, but there is a manual process as well for just a bit of the finesse and polish that needs to go into it. So in the upcoming season, the few maps right now that we are testing and trying out this cover system will apply to Mines, to Safe Haven, and Ardennes. Some of the improvements that come along with this, not just with the cover side of things, but also they have improved logic. So bots make a better attempt to avoid incoming ATGM missiles. So might have to think a little bit about your aim and finessing it to make sure you land your targets if they start to see that a missile is inbound. We also address some issues where bots sometimes stop moving, and address issues where bots continue to kind of wiggle in cover while they are in reload. So some of those things will be, all of those things will be present in the upcoming season updates. But again, the AI team is continuing to look into other ways to improve the overall experience and make them feel more competitive against you, the players.
Yes, and I'm going to drop in one little thing here because I've seen it mentioned in chat. The bots somehow being able to fire quicker than they're expected to is also being addressed in the next major update. Like I said on Tuesday, that one requires a code change, which means certification, so the quickest we can get it in is the next major update.
I'm glad you remembered that.
Yes.
Thank you for calling that out.
Most of them were here when we spoke about it on Tuesday because somebody asked if I'd seen the video of the Kronvon firing 8 times. So we did discuss that one on Tuesday, but just in case anybody wasn't here, yes, we've found the issue. Yes, it's being fixed. It requires code change, which, yeah, that's a bit of a pain sometimes. So next major update, it will be fixed.
Yep.
That was a interesting conversation to have with our bot AI dude, because he looked at it, pulled up one of the testing environments and went, it's firing normally here. And then we eventually got to the point of, we've already fixed it, it's just a code change, so it's not gone out yet.
Yeah. These are the sort of things that happen as the team looks at other facets of where we can improve. Let's talk about AI as an example, of course. And certain parameters that get changed impact things that are not meant to be changed. I'm no engineer and I don't read code, but that is just sometimes the risks of making certain changes. And while we have QA and we do our play testing and a lot of our own internal testing as well, and personal testing on our own dev kits, things like this slip by. We do catch a lot of the things that do go wrong, but there's always at least one or two that slip on by.
Don't need to be an engineer anymore, just vibe code, woo. Do you know how quickly that leads to spaghetti code? Which leads to bugs, and more bugs. Vibe coding. Imagine just coding on vibes. It sounds crazy. And I'm fairly sure you're making some of our colleagues cringe as they watch this in the background. But I've also seen the call out for the Jaguar 1 and how that's handled with bots and ATGMs. I'm fairly sure that's coming in as a fix as well with the next major update.
We can follow up with the team on that one. I'm not privy on the exact changes for the Jaguar.
The ATGMs are a bit funky when it's in bots' hands. I know our AI dude, when it comes to the bots, has already been working on it, and I'm fairly sure it's due with the next update.
Good.
Right, so back to the bit we skipped over to talk about that bit.
Back to our regular schedule.
Yes, back to the schedule.
Okay, and I did see someone also ask it in the chat a little bit, so hey, good segue in terms of like team balancing. Matchmaker. As you guys recall, we've done a number of relatable Matchmaker changes in the past year. In our Iron Horizon season, we've removed some of the parity based on win rate metrics in our Matchmaker. And right now, we only are maintaining a lot of the Matchmaker parameters that include parity of platoons, tiers, classes, and then select other elements. But in addition, in Iron Horizons, we still maintained the parity of battle counts. That is, we have certain buckets of battle counts that if you fall into it, the matchmaker tries to find another player of that same bucket to say you are a pair. However, it's worth accounting for we had it set up if you had over 2,000 battles in the game, whether you are just a player that plays a lot of maybe mid-tier, low-tier or something, that's just your jam. But you matchmake into maybe a high-tier game and you're playing with a player that has 5,000, 10,000, or some of you that had that awesome achievement of 100,000 battles, the matchmaker would still look at it and say, you guys are a pair, as long as tiers, classes, you name it, also are in equilibrium. So the battle point values and how that gets accounted for wasn't really given any real balance into the matchmaker in and of itself. It does not account for any sort of player skill. So we are choosing to remove that factor in the matchmaker in the next update. Mind you, it's just the battle count side of things. We want to take it back to a baseline, kind of a clean slate with the matchmaker to have potential updates into the future.
Right.
The matchmaker is...
what do you mean, Mr. Bam, by potential updates before all of this lot get into a bit of a hurrah about what it is?
Yes. The matchmaker. It is a living and breathing part of the game, much like most of our in-game mechanics. But over time, it does require updates. And however, to get any potential updates right, we need to first go back to the basics. The data we would need is something that needs to be collected over several months. So any potential updates are still a ways off, but this is necessary to strip out the battle count parity, gather that data, and hey, we'll be back on stream to kind of share with you guys what any sort of new matchmaker rules or metrics that we want to apply into the future.
Yes, so in layman's terms, Matchmaker will take pairs of tanks based on class and tier, pair them together, and that's it. And obviously try to balance out platoons where best it can.
Yeah.
Other than that, zip zilchinada. We're going back to the basics because to go forward, sometimes you need to take 2 steps backwards.
Yeah.
Because I know not all of you understand all of the nitty-gritty bits, so I'll translate it into layman's terms.
Even I don't get all the nitty-bitty bits sometimes.
It's a miracle worker you need. Honestly, some days I feel like I need a miracle worker. I do. One of these days, just for chat streams, you should all get an anger translator. You mean like those reels where they do the translations in real time about how people are talking in different environments?
I am not aware, but I am intrigued.
I will find you a clip at some point.
Okay.
I spend way too much time on social media. I'm sure most of chat does, actually, to be fair, that most of them, yeah, spend way too much time on social media. Right. Anyways, moving on. We've covered that bit, we've covered that bit, we've covered that one. We mentioned it earlier, but bringing back us round to full circle. Community map.
Yes, more map talks. Let's start with just a reminder of the initiative, in case this is new to you guys, but this is not an unfamiliar thing we've talked about here on stream. Community map is where we bring you, the players, along with the journey of developing a new map into the game. We do our best to provide updates, grab your feedback, take your ideas. I shouldn't say take, that sounds kind of wrong. Collaborate with you on ideas and create a map based on you guys being a part of the development process. And in the past, we've also included these maps in developments into the live game, whether that was in custom games to play as your time allows, or even as part of an event battle. So you can actually queue in with up to 7 players on a team, or maybe even upwards of 10 players per team, to try it out for competitive matches. But again, we're developing something new, and we want to make sure we are also creating something of balance in the maps. And we need actual live matches to help dictate that. Trying it out as an event battle helps us apply that, where you guys can engage, be part of it, provide us feedback. And in the data, we can also see if we're moving in the right direction in terms of, is there balance? Is there compelling, fun gameplay? Does it feel unique and different enough from our roster of maps into the game? Anyway, that's the initiative in and of itself. I do want to remind that while we are, yes, developing a new community map and we want to talk about it and start getting more ideas from you, the players, that's not to say we're not working on other new maps and still looking at returning old maps into the game. That's still very much an initiative here in development that we are pushing for. The community map is a fun, more longer term thing that we work with you guys as players to try to get an extra map out into the cycle in the future. Anyway, we talked about it a little bit in our stream 2 weeks ago. The team is starting to set up the foundation pieces for developing a map, whether it's something from scratch or kind of a kit bash of existing map pieces. We'll take Death Valley, if you guys recall that one. That was our previously released community map. And what the team did was grab several slices of different height map data of existing maps, that being, say, Kasserine, El Alamein. I think Corellia was also included in that in a certain section. That led to a very quick iteration of trying to map and get into your hands earlier in the testing process. So that's also something we can try out as well. If you guys have good call outs of like what map kit bashes, we'll call it that, would you like to see kind of put together? And yes, I saw some mentions about, Cold War only maps or uniqueness of it. This will be a map that will be rather, a little bit larger in scale, because we want to make sure it becomes available for Cold War players, but also maybe a subset where we can bring in the borders of the map itself so that it can still be viable into maybe mid and high tier play in World War II.
So you mean like we did for Nebelberg?
Exactly that, yes.
Did we remove Death Valley from World War II? No. Death Valley, however, does only see tier 9 and 10.
Yes. That one in particular we did lean more onto the World War II, both aesthetics and gameplay purposes for Death Valley. That doesn't have to be true for any follow-up community map, of course. But again, want to hear from you, the players. What are you guys looking at? What sort of gameplay features would you like to see really specified in a map? What's a highlight landmark that should be part of a new map into the game? We, of course, will try out things on our end, because I know it's easier to... We're visual people. Myself I love to get hands-on and see things myself. We'd love to showcase something, what the team is working on in the near future, to help give you guys maybe some inspiration and ideas of, oh, you guys should take that mountain and carve a tunnel through it or something, which is something we did in another community map. So we'll have more to share with you guys in the future. Do more show versus tell.
Now, very quickly, because we've not got much on this one, but very quickly, Dukla Pass, since we're on about maps again. Maps, maps, maps. It's always maps.
Yes. Similar to the improvements we applied to Ardennes, this was a community call out of a map that you guys really wanted more attention of some changes. Dukla Pass, we hear, is also being called out. More so, it seems, on the Cold War side of things. But of course, that map is in rotation in World War II, so we do want to make sure we are being fair to both audiences and game modes. Dukla Pass will be receiving some updates. We're taking a look at a number of things, whether it is just a matter of changing up the spawn locations, maybe just the base locations, all the way to maybe we have to really think about the height map of the map itself, add more assets into the map itself, changing up the gameplay entirely. All those things are very much on the table. Some of them, of course, are more affordable and can release a change sooner rather than later. But we want to make sure we do right by the map and by you, the players. So I'm not going to say we're just going to do spawn changes. We do want to consider maybe terrain and asset changes if that is necessary.
And now do me a favour and wiggle your mouse.
Wiggle my mouse.
You're going ting, which means our lovely messaging app in the background has put itself to away. And it's not muffling any sound at the moment.
I had tunnel vision there. I heard it going off, but I didn't consider the fact my mic is picking that up.
So, yes, a Wargaming headquarters map. I'm not sure how that would work, if I'm honest.
We talked about, this was just internal banter. Don't take my word for like any promises here. Not the headquarters, but we did discuss, we are here in Chicago, our primary office for World of Tanks Modern Armor. We amused the idea of having the Chicago Loop as a map in some cases. Nothing has ever been started on it. Nothing's really come to fruition. More of just a brainstorm and fun discussion we had with the designers.
And chat's also asking, do you not have a mouse wiggler?
What is a mouse wiggler?
This shows how much time you don't spend on social media, Bam. But basically, it's a little thing that you put under your mouse and it will every so often wiggle the mouse to stop it sort of turning off and going idle. Okay. It's been very popular since 2020, 2021.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But that sort of timeline, if I remember correctly. But right, anyways, chat, I bring you more news on war chests. So, some of you may have seen it because this article is already out. There is going to be another round of automatic opening, which means come the next update, if you haven't already, all of your Icebound, Pirates, TMNT, and Black Friday war chests will be automatically opened. This works the same way as it has at the previous starts of seasons, where it will open them as you log in and show you everything that you get. It's to make up that little bit of extra server room so that, you know, you can keep picking more up. But, yeah. Anyways, also, we do need to tell you about something else when it regards war chests. So, there has been legislation updates in certain countries, which means that coming with the next season, you will see less war chests in your paid-for season passes. You will only get the one that is on the free season pass track after the next update. All due to the legislation that is being brought in by other countries. I'm sure some of you have heard about it. I know what the reaction to this is going to be, but we did feel it best to tell you all that it will affect you all, and not just those countries. It will affect you all. It sucks. Yes, it absolutely sucks. And I hate to be the bearer of that terrible news for you all. Unfortunately, legal is the way it is. We do have to comply with it. So that's how it's going to go down. What will replace them? That will be told to you in the articles closer to the season launch. UK government's fault? Actually, not this time. Different countries. Different countries. But anyways, that's that news out of the way. We felt it best to tell you now so that you were prepared for it. And we didn't want this to blindside you. So, moving on to other reminders and whatnot, you only have a week and a bit to finish your season passes, which means if you've brought the anniversary pass, it means you have a week and a bit to get your level stage 125 to make sure you get all your new tanks, all your new shinies.
They're all available out there. Just gotta get through the remaining stages in the pass.
Yes. There is also... What was my other reminder? Oh, String Fury is happening this weekend. Well, finishing up this weekend. So if you're getting through any tank lines, now's the weekend to do it. And, like we mentioned earlier, +1, -1 starts on Tuesday for an entire week. It will run for the full week, starting March 31st and go through until April 7th. And no, it's not all the chests, it's only the ones that are in the paid-for season tracks that will be being changed.
Right.
So no, it's not all war chests, but it is affecting part of the season passes. Will we be monitoring the upcoming +1 -1 event? We will be monitoring the upcoming +1 -1 event. But the good part of it is that after the last test, we're pretty darn confident that we can run it for another week, aren't we, Mr. Bam?
Yeah, I would anticipate this to be something we run a bit more often. Well, often is very vague. I'll just say +1 -1. We talked about this on stream before. You guys loved it, of course. Server side of things worked pretty well. Nothing was on fire, and that was part of the initial test to make sure the load for putting people into more matches. Because if you're funneling players into less +2 -2, that means more matches have to be accounted for that. That was one of our biggest concerns about +1 -1. Good news is nothing was on fire, like I said, in our test back in September. Yeah. So we are free to run more follow-up events. I want to stress less about testing now and more. We are calling this +1 -1 events. I think that's a key call out on that front. But we will still monitor, watch for the queue times, watch for bot matches. Those are things we will keep a keen eye on, as well as balance. We want to make sure our steamroll's happening more, perhaps, is balance different, that much more different than +2 -2 matchmaking, and etc. We'll be talking more on that in the future on streams, of course.
Yes. When are the CC drops getting going? In roughly 6 minutes. So once we finish up here and once we raid somebody, you'll be able to start those drops instantaneously. Right, and just before you start getting confused, the matchmaking changes discussed earlier will come in with the next season. It is completely separate to +1 -1. Just before any of you get confused, it's completely separate. Oh, I can play some tier 8s in peace. You're not the first person or going to be the last person that says that to us over this next week. Already heard that off some of the CCs, that there's some of the tier 8s they want to go in and play. Heard it on a couple of people on Tuesday's stream going, yes, I can play my tier 8s again. You're not the first. You're not the first.
Take advantage of it.
And tier 7's the worst. I always thought tier 9 was the worst, if I'm honest.
7, 8, 9. There's my
Well,
bad joke.
you think about it. 7 has the chance to see down 2 to 5, and it goes all the way through like that, right?
Yeah.
But 9s consistently pretty much see 10s. Pretty consistently because of the tier they are.
Yep.
They are very rarely top tier. And it's really hard for the tier 9 to benefit from some of the other matchmaking rules where you are protected from being bottom tier. Because, well, there's nothing higher than tier 10. So it is always +1. So unless you get that really rare matchmaking where it gives you a 9s versus 7s, yeah, I feel like tier 9s is one of the worst tiers, if I'm honest, guys.
That's a fair assessment of it. I would agree.
But, or at least that's how I feel about it. And a lot of you guys are actually saying it's tier 8s.
I mean, tier 8 play provides a lot of variety. And, that's one of the reasons tier +2, -2 operates in terms of encouraging more tank variety into your play.
It's a bit strange, if we're honest, because everybody's got their own opinion on what's the worst one to grind. And yeah, absolutely, I think that tier 9's the worst to grind through. But obviously, everybody else has different. Some say it's 6s because they see 8s. Some say it's 7s because they see 9s. Some say it's 8s because they all see 10s. So yeah, it's very, very opinionated on this one. Right. Anyways, did you miss the Era 2 Weasel nerf announcement? I'm afraid you did not miss a Weasel nerf announcement. I'm afraid that is something that a couple of people are still discussing behind the scenes, aren't they, Mr. Bam?
That is correct. Nothing to bring to attention today, but we are actively talking of premium tank-related balances. We will have a more dedicated stream to discuss that at some point in the future. More on that internally needs to be figured out, though.
Yes. Absolutely. Right. Any other questions? We've got like 2 minutes. We've got like 2 minutes, chat. So if you've got a question, we can answer in 2 minutes.
Good questions here. Let's see. There were some good ones earlier, but man, I would not be able to scroll back all the way up there.
But also, Mr. Bam, while you try and see anything, right, what are we giving away today? Because I'll be honest here, chat. I've kind of ran out of ideas.
Well, we do have our Headless Coachman.
We do, but we've given that away a few times now.
Are we oversaturated the Headless Coachman giveaways? Okay.
Oh, what about chat? Okay, what about Stephen and his look of the Irish skin?
Keep the Irish holiday going.
Because we've not given him away too much yet, so what about that? 50 Iron Horizon war chests. I think our bosses might lynch us if we did that.
I did see a question that I did want to tackle, but if we're going to go through the giveaway side of things, I want to make sure I give you time for that.
It's all good. It's all good. I will start downloading stuff while you chat away with them.
Okay. I missed who posted this, but I did see it go by a few times. War stories. I know we have talked about this in past streams as well. I want to be clear that we internally also feel strongly about wanting to return war stories to some capacity. What I will stress right now, these are still like ongoing discussions and internal developments. I have no news in terms of sharing like when we can do something with war stories or what it is we are doing. But we do understand there is desire to, one, can we bring back the old war stories? Or 2, can we do something like an event for war stories? That was more or less the specific question asked. And 3, new war stories. The answer is we are thinking about and looking into all of these capacities for war stories. We know this was very important to players. It was fun to jump into more or less a campaign, single player like experience before getting into the competitive PvP nature of what World of Tanks is. More to share on that, hopefully in the future. But that's all I can really call to attention right now. But good question.
People want those achievements, and people do enjoy a bit of narrative as well.
Yeah.
Not that we've noticed from every time you've really enjoyed things like D-Day.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. What did you say about D-Day?
I said it's not like we hadn't noticed for the way they enjoyed D-Day and everything.
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
I also saw an owl in chat.
You saw an owl?
I saw an owl. Now, I need to have words with this owl, you know. He keeps trying to steal away my CCs and CAs, you know. Keeps trying to steal them for PC.
Owl?
Very sneaky owl. Right, anyways, you lot, it's time to spin that wheel. Which means we're gonna go there. And we've got the same colours as Tuesday, so we've got yellow, pink, purple, blue.
Team blue. Mostly because I'm wearing a blue shirt today.
You're going team blue. Okay. Couple of yellows, couple of purples going in. So remember, Stephen with his new look of the Irish skin. So, winner number 1 is spinning through now. Well, that's a pretty easy one to say, isn't it?
Yeah, nice. Skywalker, congratulations.
Wonder if he's watched a lot of a certain movie. Not here, reroll. Come on, Sin, you know I don't follow that rule here. Ah, I know this one. This one is DJ Day. And I swear they also wanted to sound like something out of a certain movie. But there we go. There's our 2 winners for today. It is now 3 minutes past the hour. So that means that the CC and the CA drops are live for the weekend chat. We will be dropping you off into one of their channels, not too far away. And you'll be able to get even more goodies just by sitting around and watching their streams. So, any parting words, Mr. Bam?
Enjoy the +1 -1 matchmaking, guys. I know you asked for it. We're trying our best to deliver more of it. And then we'll see you very soon in another stream.
Alrighty, you lot. I will see you all again on Tuesday. Not sure what we're going to be doing yet, but we'll be having fun either way. So, if you're on Twitch, stick around. We'll find somebody to raid. If you're on YouTube, we will be loving and leaving you until Tuesday. Thank you for watching and enjoy your weekends. We will see you all later. So, bye-bye.
Thank you.